Melody Johnson is the award-winning author of The Love Beyond and Nightblood series. Earning the 2021 Maggie Award of Excellence, Beyond the Next Star is an exciting branch from Melody's paranormal romance roots, keeping the dark grit from her Nightblood series and taking it to new worlds. Ooh, intriguing. Melody, take it away.
Hello, thank you so much for having me. I am thrilled to be reading today from Sight Beyond the Sun. It's my newest release, published back in January, and it's the second book in my Love Beyond series, but it does stand alone. It's in third person, shifting between the hero and the heroine's point of view, and today I'm going to be reading from the heroine's point of view. Before noticing the existence of boys, before developing a sense of sarcasm and a taste for adrenaline, Kinsley Switch Morales fell head over heels for explosives. Lighters and sparklers when she was young, firecrackers and fireworks in grade school. At 11, she built her first homemade bomb with a watermelon set to a kitchen timer. Her parents' back porch still sported pulp stains. At 13, she branched out into more sophisticated triggers, magnets and cell phones, and was sure to put her internet history, clear it before putting her research to practical use. Some experiments didn't go as planned, which is why they were called experiments. But at 16, when one of her pressure-sensitive triggers happened to be a bit too sensitive, nearly taking out Sir Whiskers in addition to the barrel she'd been intending to blow, suddenly everyone questioned her motives. Suddenly, she intended to hurt people, and she needed doctors and counselors to reveal why. That's all anyone ever wanted to know. Why the cat? Why pressure triggers? Why explosives? Why couldn't she just join the soccer team like Reese and make friends and play nice like a normal teenager? Her parents would never understand because it had absolutely nothing to do with why. She didn't want to hurt anyone. She didn't want to hurt herself. She didn't want to destroy her future or their lives. And she most certainly did not want to do anything like her sister, soccer or otherwise. She wanted to press a button and watch the sparks fly. By 17, Kinsley could construct and defuse, time switch, command, and remote detonated bombs. She could dismantle and reassemble 3, 4, 6, and 8-cylinder combustion engines and hotwire nearly any motor vehicle. And according to the flight simulator, she'd work like a dog at Mickey's body shop the previous summer to earn. She could land a Cirrus SR-22 as well as she could take off. Her parents were enthusiastically supportive of her side passions for engines and aviation, anything that didn't risk burning the house to the ground. But it wasn't until she joined the Army that her unconventional talents were truly appreciated. 2 years in, Sergeant Colt Brandon, Special Forces, recruited her to join his ops team, and from that moment forward, for the first time in 20 years, Kinsley felt something inside her click into alignment. Brandon had never cared about the whys of it all, as long as she blew up what and who he wanted, how he wanted, and when he wanted it. Kinsley was thrilled to oblige. Little did she know at the time that her proclivity for danger, her obsession with explosives, and all that field experience would come so in handy after being abducted by aliens. Abducted by aliens. Of the many ways Kinsley had envisioned herself leaving Earth, an alien abduction had never been one of them. Exploding in an IED of her own making, sure. Exploding in an IED of someone else's making, absolutely, particularly during that last especially mission in Yemen. Of old age, not as possible, and not her preference, but certainly more likely than being abducted by aliens. She and her fellow 36 human captives had had the great misfortune of being caught in what Kinsley suspected was some sort of intergalactic human trafficking ring. Who knew the Georgia stretch of the Appalachian Trail was so rife with danger? She'd survived firefights in Afghanistan, for heaven's sake, but hiking in the deep woods of North Georgia, that's what did her in. She'd fallen asleep in peace, if not complete comfort, snuggled in her tent, and woke up the next morning suffering from the worst hangover of her life, from inside a cage. It hadn't been a hangover. It hadn't been the next morning. And after being herded from one cage to another, from one spaceship to another, she didn't intend to allow herself to be trafficked for much longer. Within a week on the second ship, Kinsley had discovered a convenient, if questionable, escape route from her prison cell, a network of ceiling shafts. Similar in form, if not function, to ventilation ducts, the shafts carried fire instead of air through the ship. A vent was positioned in the ceiling of each cell, including her own, the easier for the aliens to threaten execution by incineration and achieve their unwavering obedience. The easier for Kinsley to escape from her cell when the shafts weren't in use and explore the ship. Although perhaps easy was downplaying the near paralyzing fear she overcame with every escape. Even now, after 15 weeks and nearly 100 escapes, she still had to remind herself that the incineration shaft walls only felt like they were closing in. Her lungs weren't actually being crushed. She wasn't trapped, not this time. And considering the danger the shafts posed, she was more likely to fry like Riley than suffocate like Brandon. Funny how that morsel of logic didn't comfort her throbbing heart. But she did take comfort from the fact that the fire vents were positioned above the infirmary, galley, training room, even the cockpit, identical to the ones in the brig. Someone had constructed this spaceship with the ability to deliberately incinerate everyone inside, the crew as well as their prisoners. Obviously a thorough someone, a paranoid someone, Kinsley's kind of someone. A few loose screws here, another warning example there, and bam, everyone outside the brig would be reduced to ash. Kinsley smiled at the thought. Her Special Forces team hadn't dubbed her Switch for nothing. Reel it in, girl. One phase of her plan at a time. Until she finished learning how to operate, pilot, and maintain the spacecraft, she wasn't instigating a mass incineration and commandeering the ship. Not on purpose, anyway. Not yet. Thank you.